Hey, this is KHTS AM 1220, your hometown station. This is also our way on the highway. Welcome back to our interview with Mayor Smythe. Hello, Mr. Smythe.
It's good to be here.
Mayor Smythe.
Thank you.
Whatever. Anyway.
Whatever. We'll go
more
with
gratitude.
Yeah,
We've
we'll
got to
thank
show
you.
it.
Oh yeah, so we're just gonna kind of take a minute or two
moment.
to wrap up here.
Sure.
Say our
Yeah.
thank yous. Thank you so much for being on this show. It's been a wonder interviewing with you. You're a really, really nice guy.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot for being on here with us.
Sure. No, I appreciate it, and I know that we just have a couple minutes left, but I just want to take the time to again say my thank yous to you guys and to KHTS and the wonderful partnerships with SCVi and KHTS. Just having these partnerships in our community really makes again another thing we were talking about what makes Santa Clarita special, and it's these types of partnerships that go a long way
The
with that.
big heart of Santa Clarita and all the people in it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So any other last questions you had for me before we wrap up? Or
I have two.
okay.
I have two. One is a more silly question. What is your
Yes.
favorite color?
Favorite color. So I am, probably kind of a dark gray, kind of a platinum color. I like how all those, the school, the uniforms have kind of gone into those slate colors. So
Yeah.
I would go with that.
Yeah. I'm more of a bronze guy.
All right.
I like bronze, so kind of in that spectrum
Sure.
that you are.
Sure.
But lastly, what are your future plans for Santa Clarita?
A big reason why I did decide to come back was the fact that our city is changing. We're now the third largest city in Los Angeles County with over 200,000 people. We have a city that the 60% of our population is 45 and under, and that's because of all the families that we have here. And and I felt that that was something that was kind of a void that was missing on the council is somebody who is kind of living the life of every Santa Clarita family, which is me with my three kids that are 13, 11, and 6, and so what I'm hoping is to look at the future of the city and make sure that we have policies that are appropriate for a community of our size, so that we stay one of the safest cities in the country. That's important. That we want to continue to expand our Parks and Rec programs. We always have. There's never enough field space or gym space. Want to include more arts programs, into our Parks and Recreation, because not every kid plays sports. Like I said, I have some that do that. I have others that are very much into the arts. So I want to make sure that there are those activities. I would like to continue to recruit more jobs here to Santa Clarita. That we did a study 10 years ago, probably when I was on the council before, and it said that roughly 80% of the people who commute would take a 10% pay cut for a job here in Santa Clarita. And I'm sure that number has just grown as traffic on the freeways has increased. So looking to try to bring those good quality jobs back here as well. And certainly, you can't live in Santa Clarita without having concerns about traffic. You hate when you're spending a lot of time on the freeway and then you've got to take another 20 minutes getting across town to your house once you get home. So trying to improve those traffic flows. So those are just some of the kind of the big themes as to why I ran, and hoping that over the next several years that we can get those implemented, and so Santa Clarita can grow and our services can grow along with our population.
All right, thank you. We would like to go ahead and start wrapping up our conclusions. We thank you for being here with us right now and answering these questions that we've asked you.
You got it. I hope I didn't blow it, so maybe you'll invite me back again. Maybe at the end of the year, I can do an end of the year wrap up. End of my time as the mayor, so we can reconnect. So, if I performed well enough, you guys might bring me back. Very good.
Taught us a thing or two.
Very good.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, thank you guys very much. It was great. Like I said, I've been interviewed a ton, and I thought you guys did a great job.
Thank you.
You got it.
Thank you.
And
all right.
we would like to go into a quick 2-minute break, and we will bring in our next guest. This is KHTS AM 1220, our way on the highway hometown station, and this was Mayor Smythe.
Very good.
Hello, this is KHTS AM 1220, your hometown station. This is Our Way on the Highway with our next guest, Ian Gabriel Lampert. Ian went to Cleveland High School. He then went on to UCLA for his undergraduation work, where he majored in politics, then studied at an organizational learning and leadership at George Washington U. Now chairman of the West LA NSDA District. How are you feeling, Ian?
I am feeling so good thanks to that fantastic introduction. It's good to be here.
Thank you. Well, the first question we have for you is, in 5 words or less, describe yourself.
Luckiest coach in the world.
Yeah, of course you have to count 5 words.
Yeah,
Yes.
you did good on that one.
Thank you.
What kind of coach are you?
I'm sorry?
What kind of coach are you?
I am a speech and debate coach. I've been involved in the community since I was a junior in high school, and I still look like I am a junior in high school.
Say that. Never mind. How'd you get into speech and debate?
Back when I was a sophomore at Cleveland High School, a friend of mine suggested that I should go to a competition. I didn't want to, because when I thought speech and debate, I imagined it was just like that film, The Great Debaters, people standing in front of a podium, arguing back and forth all the time. But I realized it wasn't that. Speech and debate is a combination of acting, improv, writing, of course, arguing back and forth, but there's so many different events that somebody could participate in. As soon as I went to that first competition that my friend eventually persuaded me to attend, I realized that there was an event called impromptu speaking, and that's where you get a topic, you have 2 minutes to think, and then you make a 5-minute speech right there on the spot. I loved it. I was able to share all these stories because I'm a huge geek that I couldn't share to others. And I found that people liked it. I was able to take the exuberance that I felt and then turn it into something that colleges enjoyed and that became a part of a larger community. Soon, speech and debate was all I wanted to do. It was the new theater. It was the new way to socialize. It was the new way to make great connections. Speech and debate became my life, and I've been doing it ever since.
What other events is there related to speech and debate?
So I mentioned one of the spontaneous speaking events, but beyond that, you have the argumentation-based events. That can be 1-on-1 or 2-on-2. You can have the topic ahead of time, or they can give you it there at the tournament. Then there's the writing-based events, where you'll often write, memorize, and present an 8 to 10-minute speech. And there's acting-based events, where you might take somebody else's script and turn out an 8 to 10-minute performance, a one-person show.
Mm-hmm. So you've described memorization a lot. Is there anything else involved besides memorization?
For success in speech and debate, it's about dedication more than anything else. You may not be the best writer initially. You may not be the best actor. You may struggle socially. But you'll find that if you're willing to put the time and effort into speech, you're going to reap incredible rewards from it. Dedication is surely honored in this activity.
You say you're a geek, a big geek, right?
Yeah.
All right. Give me an example of your, I guess, geekiness. It could be related to speech and debate or just your real life hobbies or anything really.
Literally every morning, I'm going to read another full comic book. And if I can, I'm going to try to get in an entire series of comic books. And that goes for Western Batman-style comic books or manga. I like that too.
That's awesome. What brought you to SCVi?
iLead NoHo, one of the schools within the iLead CMO umbrella, used to be taken over by a different charter management organization. And when it came into iLead, there was a thought that perhaps I could use the opportunity to expand speech and debate around those various sites. And the 2 most enthusiastic sites were Encino, a middle school, and SCVi. So that's exactly where I went.
Oh, okay. That's really neat.
Thank you.
It is. What's your favorite aspect of speech and debate?
The versatility. I think that it's very easy to look at speech and debate and become intimidated because you might not be good at a particular sort of event. For example, not that adept at spontaneous speaking, but there is some event for everybody. For the actors, for the artists, for the writers, for the performers. There's something there that everybody can do. And I've seen so many people who were initially terrified of the prospect of communicating their thoughts in a public arena fall in love with it because they found their event. And once they found that, they start branching out more and more, and they start developing as a communicator and citizen.
Do you partake in any other events? Or like speech and debate related events?
Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, I've partnered with Lions Club and the Optimist Club International, as well as the Constitutional Rights Foundation, which puts on yearly mock trials at the high school level, and the American Mock Trial Association, which puts on competitions at the collegiate level.
Gotcha. Now, when you mentioned NoHo, you say it says they have won many awards. Do you credit any awards to them or for their success?
Yes, the iLead NoHo speech team has had a phenomenally successful season. In fact, they just won their 300th individual championship and their over 1,000th individual award. They currently have the first place overall competitor, according to the National Speech and Debate Association's Honor Society rankings, in the history of California speech and debate. I think a lot of that has to do with the strong culture of mentorship that exists. The seniors go out of their way to mentor the novices. And as soon as possible, whenever somebody feels like they have enough expertise to teach somebody else a new thing, they will do that. I think that it functions as NoHo's sports team, really. There's that level of dedication and hard work that goes into it. It's kind of a sight to behold.
So, what do you think makes a good speech and debater?
Grit. I think effort. There's a lot of people who could be very good in speech and debate, but they don't do as well as they anticipated at their first competition, and then get defeated, and they feel bad about it, and then they give up. There are people who try for years and years and years before they win their first award of significance. There's a competitor on the NoHo team who, after 2.5 years of trying, finally got her first place trophy. And I've never seen somebody so happy, so gratified to see that it finally worked out. The good news about it is you don't need to win all the time for speech and debate to be a valuable skill. As a matter of fact, you get points under the National Honor Society whether you get first place or last place in a round. It sort of tracks your level of participation throughout the years that you're in it, and then assigns you a ranking based on that.
How did it feel to be defeated in one of these events?
Bad. It felt really bad. I remember my junior year, I went to the state championship, and I ended up taking third place in that spontaneous speaking event, impromptu speaking. And I kept wondering what I could have done better. Even now, I think about the speech that I gave in the final round, and I think if only I had changed this or that, or I spoke a little more slowly or a little faster in places, maybe that would have done it. If I was a little louder, I dwelled on it so much, and I got tunnel vision about it. But because I became so obsessed with trying to improve, the next year I came back as a senior, and I was lucky enough to win the championship that year.
Wow. Cool.
Do you still think about that to this day? Like, you're losing in third place. Do you still think about that? And have you ever figured out why you think you got third place?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I wrote a 50 or so page long set of rules and rubrics and advice for that particular event that I now give to my students in that event. And I think that a whole lot of good speech and debate competitors will go out of their way to learn from any loss that they have, because there's always room for improvement. There's no such thing as a perfect public speaker.
That's why you should always lose. You always learn from when you lose, and that's how you become better.
I'll get on it.
What tips do you have for someone who wants to get into speech and debate?
Step one, go to a tournament. Not even to compete, just to observe. See what it's like, because it's going to be demystified at that point. A lot of people imagine that speech tournaments are held in large auditoriums. That's not true. Your average speech round is in a small classroom, like the classroom in any high school. And once they see that, and they see some competitors who are quite good and some who maybe are less experienced, then they're going to think to themselves, hey, I could do that too. And step two is to try to do that too.
So when did you first start your but when you start your first tournament, when did you actually do your first tournament, and how did you feel? Did you like win it, or how did you feel afterwards?
My first speech tournament was in my junior year of high school. I waited a long time to build up the courage to go. I won one of the events, and I didn't win the other event. And I realized that I was good, but I had a lot of room to improve, and that's how I approached it from that point on.
So, what's the big difference between performing or competing in speech and debate and teaching it?
When you're performing, it's easy to get tunnel vision and treat every win as if it's the most important thing ever and every loss as a soul-crushing defeat. When you're teaching, you can take a much broader perspective on it, and you can realize that there is an absolute benefit to being involved in an extracurricular competitive communication activity, regardless of the result. I've seen so much improvement from students of all types, whether or not they get the wins that they desire.
I forgot we talked about the events.
The events. What about the events? What's the probably the most difficult or maybe like the hardest event you?
I think the most competitive event is probably duo interpretation. That's where you have two competitors cut down and memorize and perform a larger show, and they can't touch each other. And they can't directly look at each other. It's just based on their acting, the power of their blocking, and the power of the script that they found. When you look at the national final rounds of duo interpretation, there's some incredible theater happening there. Probably the best that I see at a high school level.
Now, since we're on the topic of events, do you participate in all the events, or do you just participate in ones that you are best at?
When I competed, it was only in the things that I felt comfortable in, the ones that I was automatically good at. But now that I coach, I try to expand it to every event, because otherwise I think I'd be excluding a group of students who may do very well in an event that I don't like as much personally.
Okay, so let's kind of segue it over to some more recent things.
Okay.
We understand that you are going to Shanghai this summer to judge some of China's top high school mockers.
That's correct.
First of all, what is a high school mocker?
That is a high schooler who competes in a mock trial competition. A mock trial is a combination of improv and law and order.
Secondly, how did you end up going to Shanghai?
I had a lot of success at the collegiate level in mock trial, and a company called Peer Potential wanted to recruit a lot of successful collegiate mock trial competitors so we could bring some of the American legal extracurricular activities to China.
So, does everyone speak Chinese there, or?
In China, I think a lot of people speak Chinese.
Do you speak Chinese?
I do not speak Chinese at all. They're going to be presenting to me in English.
Oh,
okay. So, are you comfortable with this? In any
Yes,
way?
oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Do you feel excited about this?
I feel thrilled. I have no idea what the cultural differences in terms of their presentations will be, or the sort of rhetorical choices that they make. I have no idea how advanced their knowledge of our legal system will be. I am excited for all the possibilities.
Have you learned any Mandarin at all, or Chinese?
No, but I'll get on that.
We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. This has been our guest, Ian Lambert. This is KHTS AM 1220, our hometown station, Our Way on the Highway, and we will now be going into a commercial break.
Hello, welcome back to KHTS AM 1220, your hometown station, Our Way on the Highway. We are still interviewing Ian Lambert. Hello, Ian.
Hi.
Would you like to?
Yep, I sure do have a question for you. Who is your hero and why?
David Bowie.
Oh.
Why David Bowie?
David Bowie is not only a fantastic, or was a fantastic musician, but he's so unapologetically himself in everything that he has produced. I listen to his albums all of the time. I'm inspired by his interviews. I'm inspired by the versatility he showed throughout his life. He's a musical chameleon and an important, I think, social figure.
What's your favorite David Bowie song?
Changes.
I'll have to check that one out, add it to my Spotify playlist.
If there was anybody in this world that you currently know right now that you could debate with, who would it be?
Well, When I was growing up, I always wanted to debate Bill O'Reilly on The Factor, but that's, as of yesterday, that's probably not going to happen. So I think that I'd like to moderate a presidential debate, but with a caveat, and that's having the power to cut off the mics of the candidates if they're not actually answering the question. I think you'd see some change that way.
Oh my gosh, that would be great. I would love watching that.
That would pretty much be quite interesting to watch. Just
Cool.
someone talking and then they get cut off. Why would you do that? Do you find it appealing? Do you just find it funny? Or?
I mean, it's not that I take a pleasure in cutting people off when they're in the middle of talking. It's more that I think that our political climate suffers from politicians evading questions as opposed to taking them head on.
So I remember from a while ago that you were talking about comic books. Who's your favorite comic book hero?
Batman.
Yeah.
Why Batman?
Batman represents the power of an ordinary person to do super heroic things.
Without superpowers.
Exactly. All he is
Gadgets.
determined and I suppose very, very wealthy. But let's ignore that part. It's really about his determination that allows him to succeed. And I think the same
Yeah.
thing applies for good speech and debate competitors. You don't need a lot of talent initially. It's not about where you come from as much as it is what you do, as much as applying whatever abilities that you have, stressing determination and hard work, and making a real impact in the activity.
So in kind of your opinion, I know the comics kind of went over this.
But Batman versus Superman.
Batman! Come on!
So
It's
you-
not
you
even a
think
question.
Batman
Yeah.
would win?
Not even a question.
Yeah.
Not even a
Also
question. Batman every time.
Yeah.
Why do you think Batman would win?
Batman with prep time beats anything. He's going to find the kryptonite and he's going to plant it in a place that prevents Superman from doing anything. And also, Superman, I don't even like Superman comics. He's invulnerable, he's invincible, he gets power from the sun. It's not any fun. Of course he's going to win unless it's against Batman. You can't beat the Bat.
Now, Batman versus Captain America. I know they're from two different universes and series, but overall,
It depends on the writer, probably. In this political climate, let's say Captain America. We need some nice American unity here.
Okay, I'm sorry to cut you off, but we have 5 seconds. This is KHTS AM 1220, your 100 station. I'm Bristol. This is Nathan. This is Alex.